What is up, my tarantula YouTube family? Welcome back to another video here at Torpedoes and Tarantulas 2. I apologize for the gap between this video and the last one that I did. Just, we're in the beginning of a new year, and it's been a bumpy start for some of us, me included. Life has been happening since the new year started, so it's kind of put the brakes on some things and limited me in what I can do in other ways, but it has not stopped my animals from eating and growing and doing well and all that good stuff. And that is the subject of today's video. We have 4 tarantulas that are in desperate need of a new house. Now, this ought to go pretty well because they're all new worlds. I have 2 terrestrials, 2 arboreals. All 4 of them are actually pretty docile, so it ought to go pretty well. Famous last words. Hey, go to the kitchen, get everything that you need, bring it back in here. Let's move some tarantulas around. All right, so here we go with tarantula number 1. I may or may not have mentioned I have 2 terrestrial and 2 arboreal. I figured we would start with the arboreal because A comes before T in the alphabet. So, plus these guys seem to be a little more docile. The 2 terrestrials are smaller spiderlings, so they're still a little more skittish and defensive. So these guys have got a little bit of size on them, and they're pretty confident in the fact that I'm not going to harm them. So they are pretty docile. So we will start with them. This is one of 2 Avicularia azuroclassi, the powder blue pinto. I bought 3 of these approximately close to 3 years ago. It was pre-COVID, and 1 of them died. 2 of them survived, and here is the first of the 2. They're actually quite docile species, and you can see it really needs a bigger space to live in, so we are going to try to get it out and get it in its new home. Alright, as long as they have been in these enclosures, they've definitely made these their home, and it may not be as easy to convince them to come out, but I'll just kind of demonstrate how, like, non-defensive and docile they can be. Both of these guys have been pretty chill. I normally don't like to poke and prod my tarantulas and try to get them to do what I want them to do, unless it's a rehousing, but I try to present a situation where it's fairly easy and comfortable for them, and I don't have to poke them around a whole lot and really stress them out. Just kind of convince them to go in the right direction, and there you go. That is Avicularia azuroclassi number 1. Very beautiful pinto species from Peru. I don't know a heck of a lot else about them except they are arboreal and of course live in Central America, so humidity can be important, but with these guys, carabinas and all Avicularias, cross ventilation is definitely the most important. And of course with this enclosure you can see there's not going to be an issue with that, so it should have plenty of room to grow. This enclosure is wider than it is tall, unlike the other Avicularia we're going to rehouse. So it's going to have a taller enclosure, but not as much broadway space. These are such a gorgeous tarantula. We got 1 more to rehouse, plus 2 others. Let's go do that. Alright, so our next rehouse is going to be from a very interesting species of tarantula that I received as a freebie when I bought a female from a breeder out there for a male that I had. Had a successful pairing, but the sac wasn't successful, and then he died, but I still have the female, and I still have the freebie. Now, this spiderling was one of the absolute tiniest spiderlings I had ever had. I was really worried it would never make it past that delicate stage, and it's still kind of hovering on the line there. This thing's probably a 4th or 5th instar at most, as slow as they grow, and as tiny as it was when I first got it, but still a gorgeous species nonetheless when they get bigger, and it seems to have been doing pretty well, but it needs a bigger house. Now, this is my Pseudophalopus species Columbia. Looks like your typical New World spiderling right now, but as an adult they have some absolutely stunning colors. Now this one has been a little more flighty, but it's all short bursts. Kind of just in circles around its enclosure, like Chicken Little when the sky fell. Which way did he go, George? Which way did he go? Rather than wanting to go for a long run like some old world slings can do. So my hope is we can just kind of put this thing down in here and convince him to go into his new house. He's got some really nice cork bark and some leaf litter and a little bit of moss, considering as he is more of a temperate or tropical species. The other spiderling is more of an arid species, so it won't need like the moss and everything. But anyway, that was a brief look at my Pseudopilopus species Columbia. It's hiding back behind a piece of leaf there. That's why I put all these leaves in here. If they do not adopt the starter burrow underneath the cork bark, they still have places like these rolled up leaves that they can web up and make into tunnels and hides or whatever. So always present your spiderlings, especially with options, and let them choose. Once they get a little bigger and you know like what they do, like these arboreals, then you kind of know how to set it up minimally, because of course that's going to be a temporary enclosure for them. Let me quit talking. Let's move to the last two tarantulas. Alrighty, this next rehouse promises to be pretty easy as well. We hope. This was the arid spiderling species that I had mentioned. A fairly common New World species in the hobby. This is the Aphonopelma chalcodes, or the Arizona blonde or Arizona desert blonde tarantula. This one has been in this house for way too long, so we're just going to put this down in here and convince it to come out. It's a bit like the other New World terrestrial that we had, where it was bolty but it didn't want to go anywhere, so we just kind of ran in circles. If I can just poke it in the rump and convince it to come out of that enclosure and into this one, and that would be ideal. But of course, dealing with Aphonopelma chalcodes and some other Aphonopelma species, they can be a little stubborn sometimes. You see this one is actually kind of raising its rump as I poke it with the stick. Let's try something a little bigger. Maybe just move it out of there. There we go. Oh, it wants to hold on with a couple of toes, and we're in. There we go. That is the Aphonopelma chalcodes. This spiderling right here is actually spoken for, as long as he still wants it, or his mother wants it. Then this tarantula has an owner. But there we go. It's in a bigger house, and we will do updates as they come along. Let's go to the last one. Alright guys, so here we go with Vicularia azura classy, number 2, the powder blue pinktoe. Again, quite a docile species and very beautiful. Awesome feeders as well. They're great eaters. I love feeding these guys. I mean, I can't tell you how many times both of them, and they are sack mates, I can't tell you how many times both of them have taken the tongs as well as the prey, and I had to surrender the tongs until they decide to let go of them. So as you can see, temperament-wise, with these light touches, very non-defensive, very docile. But I tell you what, if you are a prey item, you are in a lot of trouble. I really love these guys. I love the New World arboreals, the avicularias, the carabinas. I have 2 species of avicularia, and then I have 1 carabina versicolor that is a suspect female. And all of them are just absolutely gorgeous tarantulas. Let's give you guys a pretty good close look at this one before we scare it in its enclosure and in this video. I hope you guys were entertained by this video and that you enjoyed it, and you'll let me know with a thumbs up and a comment. Share this video with your friends. If you haven't subscribed, please do that. And as I always ask at the end of my videos, take care of yourselves and each other, and I hope you have a fabulous day or night wherever you are. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. God bless. Now let's get this tarantula in its new home. Those cute little pink toes. Nice and easy, almost like herding cattle. Such a beautiful tarantula. Well, there we go. My streak continues as far as rehousings go. Thanks for watching. Take care. God bless y'all.